So this week in Corvette news, there's a visual of what the interior change is going to look like in the 2026 C8 Corvette. And someone converted a C8 Corvette into a working food truck. That's not something I expected myself to say, but that is the case. And they plan to submit it into the Guinness World Record book as the fastest food truck in the world. And we're talking all about these things in today's video. So thanks for tuning in, guys, where we talk Corvette news, do product review videos, how to install videos, and the occasional car drive and car show all around Corvettes. My name is Carlos, and if you like what you hear and you want to know when these kind of videos drop, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, join in on the community, and join in on the fun. Okay, so getting into our topics for this week on Corvette news I came across, it looks like we have our first good picture of what the C8 screen layout will look like on the 2026 C8 Corvette. Now, if you've been out of the loop, the big picture news of this is that the C8 interior is going to have a major facelift and some significant updates going on to keep the model looking fresh and updated. This includes that signature wall buttons section of the current C8 interior going away and pretty much a redesign of the layout of buttons and the cup holders as well. The cup holders are going to be more of an open-ended instead of having that closed cover how it is now, and it's going to feature a two-tone leather option to kind of accent the interior colors that you would have going on. Now, there's also going to be a new phone charging location that will be pretty much where the original mode selector turn knob was. So you'd have easier access to your phone, so it's not just behind the waterfall essentially. And that being said, with this new layout, there are quite a few buttons that need to be kind of relocated. Specifically those AC type buttons that were on the wall of buttons. And then also some of the traction control buttons, the front lift button near that knob, those need new homes as well. So this is where this new leak footage comes into play, because GM's solution is to take at least those AC buttons and locate it right under the nav screen, which is kind of a little bit of like a dead area anyway. The other buttons, by the way, while not completely confirmed yet, will be relocated still in the center dash. But in any case, this view comes from GM's part catalog that either accidentally or purposely was published, and a few of us happened to come across it. And in this diagram, it clearly shows us what the new interior screen setup is going to look like. So let's break this down a bit. Okay, working our way from right to left, we have the nav screen and what we talked already about with the AC buttons going underneath. I think it's actually a pretty good spot for them, because that little area was honestly like a little bit of a dead space, and it could definitely handle having those row of buttons underneath there. In addition, it's also important to note that that nav screen itself is looking to be enlarged probably about an inch or two more compared to the current setup. And honestly, it makes sense considering if you look at the current interior nav screen, there's actually like a large border between where the screen actually ends and where you actually get to the edge of the actual border. So it would make sense that they would kind of enlarge the actual screen that it can handle in that little section there. So that's really good news. It definitely is going to make it a lot easier to see that screen and just better fill in that area. All right, moving from there to the center display screen. The screen itself doesn't look to see as much change, but I can see that the housing around it has been kind of updated. Particularly the top areas appear to be a little bit more flattened from the current design that has like a little bit of a concave kind of look to it. But what really actually excites me out of all of this is just to the left of the center screen, where it looks like there's going to be an additional smaller screen that you can work with. Now that's entirely new, and if it's the case, having that new third screen will be pretty nice and just kind of improve the driving experience. There's not really a lot of info out there on what that screen is going to contain, but my guess is going to be more of a functional info screen that if I was designing it, if I was an engineer, I mean, I'm an engineer, but not one of those kind of engineers, but if I was designing it, I would make that it's customizable to put any kind of info that you wanted. Particularly some of the driving data that you would see on the center screen, you could probably throw it onto that side. So things like your lateral Gs, oil temperatures, you could choose those kind of data, like car data, on that little small screen, and it would fit perfectly. And that would allow you to have a much cleaner display on your center screen that's at least just less busy. So you have your important stuff right dead center, and then less critical data, but still kind of valuable information on that smaller screen. So it would be really cool. Either way, like I said, if that third screen is a legit case, because I mean, it hasn't been confirmed or whatnot, it's going to look really nice. And honestly, that would be something that even would entice me to get a 2026, despite me getting my current Z06 about 6 months ago. Although I don't think I would ever really part with this Z06. I absolutely love it. In any case, okay, getting into our next bit of news that came across in the Corvette world. What if I told you that someone took a C8 Corvette and converted it into a food truck? Not something I'd expect to see as a combination, but that is the case this time around, where someone had the vision of making the fastest food truck on the planet, and they did that using the bones of a C8 Corvette. And when I mean the fastest food truck in the world, I'm talking getting entered into the Guinness World, Book of World Records level legit. Like, for real, the people from the Guinness World Record book created a category for the fastest food truck ever, which this car is going to set the first baseline so long as it hits at least an official speed of 130 miles an hour. And it plans to do this at the Indianapolis Speedway in July as part of the NASCAR Brickyard 400 event that's happening around that time. Now, this info is all coming both from owners of this awesome body swap C8 food truck and actually a fellow YouTuber that goes by the name DZRIDEZ. So definitely a big shout out to them, because this is one heck of a unique ride. And from everything I've seen, it's a legit 2021 C8 Corvette Stingray that has 10,000 miles on it, and where they essentially removed the external body from it and did a full body swap with a 1952 Metro van for the exterior. And it's a fully working food truck with even a custom built-in beer tap system, which is pretty freaking cool. If you look at shots of the interior, you see the original C8 Corvette seat, the front dash set up like you would normally see on a Corvette, and then near the rear end, they did a really cool partition so that one side of the food truck serves food and then the other side serves drinks. And then directly down the center, they made this cool display of the engine that you can see pretty darn well if you're looking at it from directly behind. You also see the OEM C8 wheels that, if you're any sort of Corvette enthusiast, those wheels will give you the sneaking hint, if you were to happen to catch a glimpse of this car from a distance, that something special is going on, something Corvette is going on, kind of deal. All of it is nicely put together with even a large freaking wing on the back end just to give it that extra bit of flair. So it would be cool to see this in person. I would love to have seen this car in person. Maybe I'll get lucky enough to see it at some point. And if you're wondering if it might end up in your neck of the woods, definitely check them out on social media. I'll post their info in the description so you can definitely check them out and basically just check it out for yourselves. Okay, so the last thing going on this week is just my personal news and channel news, where if you didn't see last week's news video, I have my C8 Z06 finally back after a 6-week ordeal. Car was broken, stuck waiting on parts, which finally came in, and now it's back in shape. I'll have a full video talking about all that happened coming real soon, because it's worth mentioning the problems that I had, because they're not unique. It's actually happened to other C8 Corvette owners, including fellow YouTubers like Justin from Horsepower Assess. It happened to his C8 Stingray before he had his Z06, so you're gonna definitely want to check out that video when it drops. I also have a ton of product review videos and how to install videos to get through too. I'm like literally backlogged, like I'm not even kidding, 15, 20 videos at this point. So yeah, I have a lot of catching up to do. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, join the community, join the fun, and yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.